Switzerland is famous for chocolate, watches, and neutrality, but hidden beneath that peaceful image lies one of the most remarkable defense systems ever constructed. For decades, many of Switzerland's bridges, tunnels, roads, and mountain passes were secretly prepared for destruction. Military engineers designed certain structures with built-in demolition chambers. If enemy forces invaded, explosives could be installed and detonated, turning vital transportation routes into impassable obstacles. It sounds like something from a spy movie, but it was very real. Why would one of the world's most neutral countries prepare to blow up its own infrastructure? The answer lies in centuries of survival, the fear of invasion during World War II, and a Cold War strategy that transformed the entire country into a fortress. This is the story of Switzerland's secret explosive bridges. Chapter 1. A small country surrounded by great powers. Switzerland sits at the heart of Europe, surrounded by France, Germany, Italy, Austria. Throughout history, powerful empires fought around the Swiss Confederation. Its mountainous geography offered protection, but geography alone could not guarantee survival. Swiss leaders concluded that neutrality did not mean weakness. Instead, they believed neutrality had to be defended, and that meant preparing for the worst. By 1940, much of Europe had fallen under Nazi control. France had collapsed. Germany dominated Central Europe. Switzerland suddenly found itself surrounded by Axis-controlled territory. Many feared that Adolf Hitler might invade. German military planners even developed a proposed invasion known as Operation Tannenbaum. Although the invasion was never carried out, Swiss authorities took the threat seriously. Under General Henri Guisan, Switzerland adopted an extraordinary defense strategy. Rather than relying solely on fighting along the borders, the Swiss prepared to retreat into the Alps. And if necessary, they would destroy roads, bridges, and tunnels behind them. This strategy became known as the National Redoubt. The idea was simple. If an enemy invaded, Swiss forces would withdraw into heavily fortified mountain positions. Meanwhile, key transportation routes would be destroyed. Enemy armies would face collapsed bridges, destroyed tunnels, blocked valleys, mountain fortresses. The rugged Alps would become a giant defensive stronghold. The strategy aimed to make conquest extremely expensive and difficult. Even if major cities fell, resistance would continue. Many bridges were built with hidden cavities. These cavities were not permanently filled with explosives. Instead, they served as demolition chambers. During a national emergency, military engineers could quickly place explosives inside. When detonated, the bridge could collapse, denying enemy forces access. Some tunnels and mountain roads received similar treatment. The purpose was not destruction for its own sake. It was delay. Every hour gained could help Swiss forces regroup and strengthen their defenses. The system became part of a broader doctrine of deterrence. Potential invaders would know that even if they crossed the border, moving through Switzerland would become extremely difficult. After World War II, the threat changed. The Cold War brought fears of conflict between NATO and the Soviet Union. Switzerland remained neutral, but neutrality did not mean abandoning defense preparations. Thousands of bunkers were constructed. Artillery positions were hidden inside mountains. Some military installations were disguised as barns, houses, chalets, rock formations. The country became one of the most heavily fortified nations on Earth. Entire communities maintained shelters and emergency plans. Bridge demolitions remained part of Swiss military doctrine. One common misconception is that explosives permanently sat inside every bridge. That was generally not the case. Most structures contained prepared demolition points rather than active bombs. Explosives would be installed only during mobilization. This approach reduced risks while allowing rapid action during emergencies. Over time, military planners identified hundreds of locations suitable for demolition. These included bridges, railways, tunnels, and mountain passes. The system formed part of a carefully organized defense network. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Switzerland reassessed many of its military preparations. The threat of large-scale invasion declined. Many hidden fortifications became obsolete. Demolition systems on numerous bridges and roads were removed. Some bunkers were converted into museums, hotels, storage facilities, or private properties. Others remained classified or inactive. The age of preparing to destroy the nation's infrastructure had largely passed, but traces of that era still exist. Switzerland's explosive bridges reveal a different side of a country often associated with peace and neutrality. Neutrality was never intended to mean helplessness. Instead, Swiss leaders believed that survival required preparation. By designing bridges and tunnels that could be destroyed in wartime, Switzerland hoped to discourage invasion altogether. In the end, the bombs were rarely needed. No enemy army ever forced Switzerland to activate its full defensive plan, and perhaps that was the greatest success of all. Because sometimes, the strongest defense is convincing your enemies that victory would simply cost too much. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe for more stories about military history, secret fortifications, Cold War strategies, and the hidden defenses that shaped the modern world.